Hello everybody, how you doing today? Gravity Falls is a character-driven story about the weirdest little town in Oregon you've never heard of. A place where fact and fantasy overlap, and the truth really is stranger than fiction. The series centers around the Pines family. Twins Dipper and Mabel Pines go to stay with their great-uncle Stan, or Grunkle Stan, in his roadside tourist trap, the Mystery Shack. But the main cast of characters extends far past the Pines family, as by the end of the show, nearly each character on screen is one the audience feels connected to. On top of that, it managed to build a world where all the weirdness introduced seems to fit right in. If you have seen the show, you understand why it has such a dedicated following, even now, 3 years after it finished airing. But if this is your introduction to the show, or you simply have heard of it but have yet to watch it, then let me try to explain to you why Gravity Falls was a show worth waiting for. What keeps us invested in our favorite shows? Good characters, interesting plot lines, an unfolding mystery? Well, if this is what you're looking for, then look no further than Gravity Falls. This beautifully animated adventure takes place over 2 seasons, as well as some supplementary reading material and shorts. It consists of a continuous mystery that was hinted to us from the very beginning, and a new adventure with each episode, serving to grow the world, grow the characters, or simply just make us smile watching the colorful cast figure out a way to deal with their problems. Now, I only see it fair to warn you that there will be spoilers, so if you have not seen the show and want to enjoy it spoiler-free, then please go do so, and then come back. But if you have seen the show or don't mind some spoilers, then let's do this. Gravity Falls was inspired by various aspects of the life of series creator Alex Hirsch. One such influence being shows like The Simpsons, where Hirsch observed that animation could be funnier than live action, that animation didn't just have to be for kids, that it could be satirical and observational and grounded in a sense of character interaction. I imagine it would be hard to find anyone who's seen Gravity Falls that doesn't agree that this mentality was crucial in creating the show we received, especially the bit in regards to having a show built on character interactions. Before his work on Gravity Falls, Hirsch worked on the Cartoon Network show The Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack as a storyboarder, and the Disney Channel show Fishhooks. But even before working on these shows, Hirsch had the idea for Gravity Falls coming together, as the original short that would go on to inspire the show was created during his time as a student at the California Institute for the Arts. While this short is different, particularly in the animation style, it gives us a glimpse into what Gravity Falls would one day become. So Hirsch knew what he wanted to make, and he knew who he wanted to make it with, as he reportedly turned down an offer made to him by Jeffrey Katzenberg, the founder and CEO of DreamWorks, as Hirsch wanted to work for Disney. After his work on the aforementioned projects for Cartoon Network and Disney, Hirsch was given the chance to give a pitch for what would become Gravity Falls, an atmospheric story that builds a world on a unique setting, and even more so on its unforgettable cast of characters. Dipper and Mabel are the central characters of Gravity Falls, as the majority of the plot does feature them, but this is a show that makes it particularly difficult to call any character the main characters, as by the end you feel like you know each member of the town in some way or another. Dipper is serious, intelligent, well-intentioned, and hungry to prove himself by solving the mysteries of Gravity Falls, while Mabel is the perfect foil to his serious attitude, serving as the emotional center of the story. Where Dipper is calculating and rational, Mabel is sporadic and jovial. She's impulsive and daring, which can often get on Dipper's nerves, while Dipper's obsession with the town and his pride can often cause problems with his sister. But at the end of the day, they are always there for each other, usually after some lessons learned and a few extra bruises. It's this clash of personalities which makes the Pine twins feel so real to me. They argue over things like who's taller or who should get the extra room in the shack, but they're 12, and despite Dipper's desire to be seen as more mature, it's refreshing to see siblings act like siblings. Perhaps their relationship feels so real to me because Alex Hirsch took inspiration from his own summer memories spent with his twin sister, even going so far as to have the number 618 scattered in the background throughout the show, which is his and his sister's birthday, June 18th. In addition, everyone's favorite con man, Stan, is reportedly based off of Hirsch's own grandfather, who shared the character's name. The town of Gravity Falls itself is even loosely based on a real town in Oregon called Boring, Oregon, which Hirsch saw as a kid, and it claimed to be the most interesting place to live. With the show based on his own experiences made to be supported on dynamic character interactions, it's easy to see how the characters turned out to be just as important as keeping people coming back as the mystery elements of the show. Speaking of Stan Pines, he's the owner of the Mystery Shack, whose criminal record is long enough to warrant some concern. He is greedy, stubborn, crude, and harsh to those around him, but when it comes down to it, he's willing to risk his life for his family, and even ends up being the series' hero in the final clash with... well, we'll get to him. The cast is too long to go into details for everyone, but let's do a speed round. We got the handyman and all-around cool dude Seuss, the bona fide badass and girl of Dipper's dreams Wendy, the antagonist and Mabel-obsessed little Gideon, Robbie, the sole person keeping Gravity Falls' hot topic open, town mean girl and Mabel's series rival Pacifica Northwest, Mabel's best friends, Grenda and Candy, town loser Toby Determined, the cops Blub and Deputy Derlin, diner owner Lady Z Susan, and so many more returning characters. This even includes several magical creatures such as the multi-bear and the gnomes. And each of these characters feels like they are just another weird part that fits perfectly into an equally weird town. Even those who are just a tad strange, like Tad Strange, who is actually voiced by Cecil Baldwin, known for his titular role as the host of the Welcome to Night Vale podcast, which, can I just say, having these two equally weird projects about mysterious, conspiracy-filled towns connected in some way makes me so happy as a fan of both. However, we cannot wrap up the characters without talking about Stan Pines. Well, the other Stan Pines, Great Uncle Ford, Stan's twin brother and the author of the journals, voiced by J. Jonah Jameson himself, who is introduced to us halfway through the second season as a part of the main cast. Ford is to Stan as Dipper is to Mabel. Stan Lee, aka Grunkle Stan, was carefree and tough, while his brother Stanford was all brains but no brawn. They butted heads just like Dipper and Mabel, but they always had each other's back. Well, keyword being did. Stan's impulsive behavior cost Ford the chance to attend the school of his dreams, causing a rift in their relationship that serves as a point of conflict from Ford's introduction onwards. The similarities between Ford and Dipper and Stan and Mabel are noticeable to most everyone watching the show. I will even mention another comparison later on in the video, but Gravity Falls is not a show that simply wants you to focus on the surface level, which is why there's also ways of connecting Dipper and Stan and Mabel and Ford. Interestingly, Dipper is 5 minutes younger than Mabel, and Stan is actually younger than Ford. Stan sees a lot of himself in Dipper, which is why he pushes him so hard. He wants to toughen him up and prepare him for a world that is often not going to care about him.
Oh, this again?
He's a loser. He's weak. I just want to get rid of him. Yeah. Those are all things people said about me when I was a boy.
Huh?
It was terrible. I was the biggest wimp on the playground. So one summer, my pop signs me up for boxing lessons. And it was even worse than the schoolyard.
Left hook!
Oh. You know, at the time, I thought my pop was trying to torture me. But wouldn't you know it, the old man was doing me a favor all along.
Give me that bag!
Help! My purse! Help!
Left hook!
So you see, that's why I'm hard on Dipper. To toughen him up, so when the world fights, he fights back.
Do you think it's actually working?
I did it! Yes!
He's really coming along. When push comes to shove, I'm actually proud of him. Just don't ever tell him that. His head's big enough as it is.
That's true.
While Ford has become hardened by his time spent in the other dimensions, he is brave and willing to run into danger, much like a certain impulsive, sweater-wearing twin we know. Much like everything in Gravity Falls, there's more than one way to look at any situation. Gravity Falls plays out as a new, strange occurrence of the week kind of show at first, but as the story progresses, characters are introduced and the world begins coming together. When the mysteries of the town are at the forefront, we are invested because we're learning more about the weirdness of Gravity Falls and enjoying meeting its residents along the way. As the series goes on, we get to see Dipper and Mabel grow to love the strange place they've found themselves living in. And the more that they become a part of the town and are no longer considered outsiders, the more the plot builds around one mystery in particular. The mystery. Who is the author? A second watch of the show, knowing the answer, makes you feel like everything is so obvious. There's so much foreshadowing in the show. I love it. It's in the background, the dialogue, and the Easter eggs hidden all over. By the time everyone has accepted the Pine twins as a normal part of their lives and the town, the story is completely driven towards finding the author. Dipper is no longer satisfied with simply experiencing the mysteries around him, instead opting to follow whatever clues he can find to lead him to the author. The mysteries of this show are one of its defining features, as the audience is encouraged to try to work out the mysteries of Gravity Falls alongside the characters. Whether this be with the cryptograms at the end of each episode, the zodiac, the plethora of triangle imagery, or previously mentioned foreshadowing and Easter eggs right in front of us. This is just another factor that adds to the rewatchability of the show, as during my most recent rewatch I found myself noticing details in the background and even foreshadowing future events that went clear over my head the last time I watched it. But if we're talking about the mysteries of Gravity Falls, then perhaps I should explain the significance of the journals. Dipper discovers a mysterious journal in a tree at the start of the series. It's a red book with golden detailing. Its cover is emblazoned with a 6-finger hand marked with the number 3. The author's identity has been torn from the pages, however, the journal still details many of the odd phenomena and creatures that exist within Gravity Falls, and becomes Dipper's guide to the supernatural world he begins to discover. Though it isn't long before we're shown that Dipper is not the only one who has a journal, as after his first defeat at the hands of Dipper and Mabel, Gideon is shown to have a journal of his own. While its cover shows the same golden hand, this journal has a number 2 on it. Suddenly questions are raised for the audience, who are given a position of having information not given to our main characters. This is what breeds theory communities, and I can assure you, it's still very active, even 3 years after the show's television run. All these videos are just from the past few months. Anyways, it's revealed to us after Gideon's downfall at the end of the first season that the remaining journal was in the possession of Stan, and now he has all of them, so he can begin work on some machine.
After all these years, finally, we have them all.
For those familiar with the plot of the show, you know the significance of that machine, and that it was built by Ford under the influence of a dark force as a way to connect different planes of existence, and it's what's used to bring Ford back and into the show. But speaking of dark forces manipulating our characters...
Who's that Pokemon?
Name's Bill Cipher.
Oh, sweet lord, yes, Bill mother-loving Cipher. The fan-favorite all-powerful pyramid and interdimensional villain whose sole purpose is to spread chaos through weirdness and destruction. He is devious, intelligent, and did I mention all-powerful? Bill spends the entire show manipulating his way towards the goal of crossing over into our reality, preying on the fear, pride, and greed of our characters to ensure the success of his plan. And when Bill is finally allowed to cross over into the real world and show his true strength, the heroes lose. There's no way around it. They are defeated. The town and its citizens are in shambles. Weirdness reigns supreme, the journals have been destroyed, and our remaining heroes are left divided. Now, of course we know they don't lose forever. They rise up with their friends at their side, and they ready themselves to defeat Bill until Stan ruins it. But they do eventually beat him, defeating him in a place they know they can beat him, the Mindscape. Stan even sacrifices his memories to ensure Bill's defeat. The fact that this is the length our characters had to go to stop him only goes to highlight the strength he has. Everything from his way of speaking to his unique design, I can honestly say I've never found a triangle so disturbing, to the legitimately unsettling things he does on screen, like pulling the teeth from a deer's mouth or swapping all the features of Preston Northwest's face. Can we just take a moment to highlight the more disturbing elements of Gravity Falls? This series does manage to put out some legitimate examples of disturbing concepts and imagery, such as the furniture made of human flesh owned by Bill Cipher and
For the pyramid! Have a drink! Make yourself comfortable! You know that couch is made from living human skin?
the entirety of the Northwest Mystery Manor episode.
Cipher, what is this?
It's a category tag.
And worst of all,
Should really be
No way out of it. Look, it all begins with this little fella, the pituitary gland. He may be little, but he has big plans. And now you know where babies come from.
Goodbye, childhood.
Bill Cipher is an unforgettable villain. His sociopathic lack of empathy yet charismatic personality mixed with his patience, cunning, and seemingly limitless strength creates an intimidating presence who steals the show every scene he's a part of, as just his mere presence on screen changes the tone entirely. There's a quote I've seen floating around that a hero is only as good as his villain. Well, if a show is held to the same standard, then I have to say this show is worth all the praise it receives. Gravity Falls has a show, shorts series, and comics. Not to mention the copy of the journal you can buy, which reveals even more of the town's mysteries, and even gives fans the answers to questions they never tackled in the show, such as, what's Dipper's real name? As it's shown in the show that Dipper is a nickname based on a strange birthmark which resembles the constellation. This weird physical trait is just another way he's similar to Ford. But the point I'm trying to make is, even with a show that has all that, people want more, and people are creating more. Whether it's fanfics, art, fan animations, theory videos, or even a fan-made visual novel. The community is not ready to leave Gravity Falls, and even after watching the show and moving on to other projects, I can't forget about it. When I started writing this script, I started with the title Gravity Falls, a show worth waiting for. And while the story is complete, at least for now, and people no longer need to wait for new episodes to confirm their theories or expand the strange world they've grown to love, I believe the idea of the show being worth the wait still stands. Because Gravity Falls asked its audience to be a part of the mystery and the story. It gave us the pieces and challenged us to find the answers. In essence, the hiatuses between episodes served just as an important role in the formation of the fan base as anything else. It gave us time to think, to theorize. It gave people time to truly immerse themselves in the lives of the characters that they had come to know and love. It asked the audience to face their fears of the future, uncertainty, and change alongside the characters, but presented these problems in fun and creative ways. Growing up is scary, and I think that's why so many people connect with this feeling of an ideal childhood summer, and why it's so hard to truly say goodbye to this series. A part of me will always be in Gravity Falls, and that's why I definitely think it was a show worth waiting for. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I love Gravity Falls, and I loved getting to revisit the world and think on it and try to figure out why it means so much to me. And one day I think I'd love to revisit the series, maybe actually review it, talk about some specific episodes, talk more in depth about it, but I just thought this was a fun little video to make, and I also wanted to thank all of you for being a part of this channel. I have 21 subscribers now, and I know that's not the most in the world, but I'm genuinely happy to have each and every one of you, and my last video got almost 200 views, which is insane for, you know, the amount of views I've been getting so far, and the fact that people involved with Starlight Brigade actually reached out to me because of the video in comments or liking things, and I was just blown away and so humbled. So again, I wanted to thank you. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, think about subscribing if you're new, leave a comment, share it if you think someone else would really enjoy this video. I just started a Patreon, so if you guys would like to support me and help me grow this channel so I can put more of my time and effort into it, think about going there. I have a subreddit, an Instagram where I'm selling some art now if you guys want to see another hobby of mine outside of YouTube. I have a Twitter. All of that's going to be down in the description below, so take a look at that. Thank you guys so much again. I love each and every one of you, and I want to come up with a fun name to call my slow growing audience. So comment below with cool ideas of things I could call. You know, the Grumps have the Lovelies. Dominic Noble, who does Lost in Adaptation, calls his viewers his beautiful watchers. So anything like that would be really fun. So let me know what you think, and I hope you all have a fantastic day.